Hello students, today we are going to discuss chapter 13 manufacturing industries in India. It is the first part of this lesson, agro-based industries, and the second part will be then another chapter. Now as we go with this chapter, let us know what is relation between the agriculture sector and the industrial sector. Now the agriculture sector comes under the heading of wheat, rice, sugarcane, etc. The raw material that we get from the field, and also the all the farms like poultry farms, dairy farms, all included in the agriculture sector. Then comes the industries. Industries are the place where the machines are manufactured. Now when we know that when we look into our own life, maybe of 20 or 30 years, we know that we were cultivating different items like wheat, rice and all, and there was more manpower was used. But as we look now, there are a lot of machines have come up, and our life became easy for the cultivation. Now for the plowing, cutting, all this, there are machines, and it has reduced the work of human beings. One more thing is to remember that when the British people were here, they were our country was very rich in all the raw materials, and they carried all these raw materials to their own country, and they formed into different forms, products, and they sold it in our country. So what happened when it was sold in our country, the economy of our nation was gone down. So thereafter we started to think, since we are rich in all raw materials, why can't we produce it in our country? So we have looked for the good machinery items from other countries, and we have brought it, and we started to manufacturing in our own country, and thus the economy of our nation has increased. So therefore we should understand the agricultural sector and the industrial sector are very important for our life and for our country. Now in this chapter, we will be discussing about the only three topics like classification of industries, secondly the agro-based industries, in that cotton, textile industry and sugarcane industry. Now we go with the classification of industries. The industries are classified or divided into different terms like raw material, management, products, size, or etc. So first and foremost, we have the term of raw materials. Raw material means that we get from our own field, or that we cultivate or that we produce. Like from the agro-based industries, we have wheat, sugar, rice, etc. And in animal-based industries, we have poultry farms, and there the meat and eggs are produced, then cultivated or produced. And then comes the dairy farms, in that the milk products from their cheese, butter, all these things are produced. Then the leather item, the skin of the animals are taken and made into leather, and we use it for the bag and our sandals, etc. Then for the mineral based industries, there we have the metal, coal, petrol that we erupt from the earth, and that has been used in the industries to make new machinery items. Then on the forest based industries comes the timber, wood that we get from the forest, and that has transformed into furniture, paper, etc. So first point on the classification of industries comes the raw materials. Then comes the management. There are three sectors like private sector, public sector and joint or cooperative sector. Now the private sector can be owned by an individual or of a firm. Firm means the group of people. And for example, like Tata Iron Steel industry is one of the great industry, and it is run by a person. and also the IT companies like Wipro, Infosys are the examples of private sector. Then comes the public sector, that is run by the state or central government. Then in public sector it comes automobiles, wood materials and transport. As we look into our own life, in every family there may be one or two vehicles for the daily use. We need, it is the need of every person, so therefore people look for the vehicles for their life, and it is manufactured in the industries. Then the transport, that is provided by the government, maybe of roadways or railways, all these things are provided by the government, also comes under the heading of public sector. And thirdly is the joint or cooperative sector. It can be the mixture of private firm, or it can be of state or central government. For example, like this Oil India Limited is an example for the joint sector, and the Amul milk product is a corporate example for the cooperative sector. Actually, it has started in Gujarat as a group of people come together, and they have collected the milk that they get from their cow, and they brought it together. For example, if they have collected 1 liter per person, and maybe of 100 people, they put it together, and from there they have produced a new items like maybe of cheese or butter, ice cream, etc., and that they have sold it in the market. From there they get the profit, and that profit they have distributed among this 100 people. Then comes the size of the industries. Now here it comes on the basis of the investment. Now according to the size of the industries, we have to spend a lot of amount for the functioning of that particular industries. There are 3 types of industries, like large scale industries, then medium scale industries, and the small scale industries. Now the large scale industries are included automobiles and iron and steel. We know as we know the value of the material, we need to spend a lot of amount for the functioning of that one, or producing any new product from the raw material. So the investment also more is done for this large scale industries. Then comes the medium scale industries, and that may be of cycle, radio, paper mills, all comes under the heading of medium scale industries, and there may be of less amount than the larger scale industries that we have to deposit for the functioning of this kinds of industries. Then comes the small scale industries. Here comes the rice mill, flour mill, bakery. All these are examples for the small scale industries. And here also, lesser than the medium scale of industries, we invest the amount and we function it. Then comes the financial products. The products that we manufacture. According to that also the classification is done for the industries. There comes the heavy industries and light industries. The iron, steel, locomotives, automobiles industries comes under the heading of heavy industries, or they are the examples of heavy industries. Here the products are more valuable than the light industries, like electric goods, TV sets, sewing machines, or these are the light products that we produce or manufacture. But when we look into iron and steel industries, there is the value of the product is more. So according to the financial products, that the industries are also classified or divided. Then comes the others. Here comes the location and the market and the finished products. Here actually this is maybe of like example of cottage industries, like maybe of a person or a group of people maybe produced some materials that is daily need for the daily uses of the people, like for example like a ropes, mat, handicraft items, all these things. And this is also local machines are used here, and they manufacture or produce new materials for the selling. So these are the classification of the industries. Now, as we have said before, in agro-based industries, we need to study about only the cotton textile industries and the sugar industries. Now, as we know, our country is one of the largest producer of cotton, and also almost 40% of employment is given in this textile industries. So there are, as we look into the cotton textile industry, there are two types of industries. First is a handloom industry, and other one is a powerloom industry. Now, handloom industries are those worn by the people. Means here the simple machines are used, and mostly more people are working over this one, and products are produced. Like here, the example for the handloom industry is like khadi products. Is mostly people work and they make it the clothes. Second comes the powerloom industry, in that it is more of machine works, and more of the electric power is used to make the clothes. So for example, like here the polyester or any other cotton, all these things are example for the powerloom. These are the two types of industries that we see. Now, when we discuss about the distribution, Maharashtra and Gujarat are the leading producers of cotton textile, cotton clothes, and the Maharashtra is almost 40% of clothes are produced, and the Gujarat is produced by the 23% of clothes. And the Maharashtra is given a nickname of cotton police of India because of the vast or the large cotton production. And in Gujarat, actually in Ahmedabad is the place where we more producer of production of cotton is taking place. In the same way, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal and Uttar Pradesh are the another producers of cotton clothes. Tamil Nadu is given another name of the Manchester of South India. Okay, because of the extensive textile in Tamil Nadu, so it is given a name for the Tamil Nadu. Then comes the West Bengal. In West Bengal, Kolkata is the leading producer of the cotton clothes, and also here this is a place where the transportation is very good. The railways and the roadways also is very good, and in Kolkata the Hooghly River provide enough and more water for the cotton production and cultivation. Then comes the western part of Uttar Pradesh, like Kanpur, is another leading producer of cotton clothes. Now, the major factors of the textile industry. Here there are 7 points that we need to understand, like the black cotton soil. As we know that for the cultivation of the cotton we need the black soil. So this is a main factor of the textile industry. Then comes the perfect climate. For the cultivation of the cotton we need warm and humid climate. Then the excellent transport system. As we collect produce after the production, we need to sell it into different places. So therefore, we need excellent transport system. Then the labor power. The cotton production, for the preparation of the cotton, there is lot of hard work is needed, like the collection of the cotton balls, then remove the dirt and the seed from the cotton balls, and then form into yarn, then the cotton clothes. So therefore, the labor power also is very much important for the cotton textile. Then the hydroelectric power, since the more machines are working, so therefore we need enough and more electric power. And the marketing, of course, after producing the cotton clothes, we need to sell it into different places. So therefore, the marketing also is an important factor of the cotton textile industry. Then the presence of the ports. Now, if the roadways or the railways are not possible, therefore we need the ports where we can transport the goods. So these are the main and major factors of the cotton textile industry: the black cotton soil, then the perfect climate, the excellent transport system, labor power, hydroelectric power, marketing, and presence of ports. Now, what are the problems faced by the cotton industries? First is the scarcity of raw materials. As we know, the present world, people are not happy to cultivate or not happy to do the agricultural work. So therefore, there may be a scarcity of raw material. The cotton things we will not be getting. That can be another problem for the cotton industry. Then comes the old and outdated machinery. Now, for the functioning or for the easy way of producing the cotton clothes, we should have the good and updated machinery. If we don't get, it is a problem for the cotton industries. Then comes the shortage of power, and as we know, the world is more populated and people use more power, electric power, and therefore there is a scarcity of getting the electric power for the functioning of the mills or the industries. Then the stiff competitions between the cotton industries. Some may be bringing they may import the material from other countries and building it, making it in our country and selling it in the high prices, or maybe in between there is a competition between all the cotton industry. So that is also another problem of the industries. So these are the scarcity of raw materials, older and outdated machinery, the shortage of power and stiff competition. These are the problems faced by the cotton industries. Now we go with the second topic, that is sugar cane. So this also we cultivate, and our India is one of the largest producer of sugar cane. So from the sugar itself we get the products that there are three products that we get. First and foremost is the good or jaggery that we know in our daily use we use, and it is made by boiling the sugarcane juice. Then comes the kandasari, that is the old method of separating the molasses from the sucrose. So, and the third one is the white sugar that is produced in the sugar factories. So these are the products that we get from the sugar cane. So when we look into the distribution, UP and Bihar are the states in northern India we produce, and Maharashtra and Karnataka are the leading producer of southern India. Now, what are the problems faced by the sugar industries? Now, first and foremost is the poor quality of the product. If we don't prepare well, if the cultivation is not done properly, we know that it need more the climate should be humid and warm, then enough water is needed also. So if there is climatic change is there, we do not get enough and or good quality of product. So therefore, to run the sugar industry we have a problem. Then the high cost of the production, so the amount that we invested or amount that you have used for the production of the sugar cane is also another problem of sugar industry. Then comes the fluctuation in the output of the sugar cane. As I told you, the erratic nature of monsoon. So erratic means there is no steadiness. It may be there may be a variation of the monsoon. So that also can cause for the functioning or getting the output from our field. Then comes the old machinery, the machines that should be good and that can help to produce the sugar. Then the wastage of byproducts. There are three byproducts that we have: molasses, bagasse, and mud. So these are the things if we don't get properly or if we don't use properly, that can be spoil the getting of sugar. Then comes the next point is that reasons for shifting to southern part. So at the beginning we were having the northern place, we were having the cultivation of the sugar, but later on, since there is a climatic problem, transportation problem, all the things, so people start to shifting to southern place, and because there are favorable climate and that is hot and humid climate which we get in the southern place, then the more black soil which is needed for the sugar cultivation, then the excellent transportation, that is good in southern part, then the fields near the mills. Now as we look into this sugar cane, the sugar cane is gets dried up within the 16 hours. So what, as we cut the sugar cane, we need to reach the mills. So therefore the mills or the industry should be near to the field. Then comes the new machinery. So when we have the new and good machinery, we can reduce the labor power. So that also very we are getting in southern part. So people start to shifting this industries to the southern part. Then the plain areas. The plain areas for the irrigation as well as for the transportation is very good. So therefore there is also another reason to shift the sugar industry to the southern part. So now we have learned this chapter. So what we need to do after reading or after watching this video, you have to read the chapter and find out the question answers and write in your classwork copy. Thank you.